Have you ever looked back on a relationship and asked yourself, was any of that real? It's a bitter pill to swallow when you realize that maybe she was never truly in it. Maybe she was using you. Before we dive deep into this, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you stay till the end of this video. Because what you're about to hear isn't just another list of red flags. It's a mirror, and seeing clearly through that mirror might just save you from months, even years of emotional chaos. This is your comprehensive guide to 6 signs she was using you through the lens of Stoic philosophy. Let's rewind the story a little. It started like any great romance does. She laughed at your jokes. Her eyes sparkled when you spoke, and every conversation felt like fireworks. You told yourself, this is it. This time it's different. You gave your time, your attention, your money, your energy. You were generous, maybe even proud of how much you were willing to do for her. That's what love is, right? But then things shifted. Subtly at first. Your calls started getting ignored. Your messages were left unread. Plans were rescheduled over and over. But every time she needed something, whether it was emotional support, financial help, or just someone to boost her ego, and she came running back, and you opened the door again and again. But why? That's where Stoic philosophy opens our eyes. Epictetus once said, "A man is not hurt so much by what happens as by his opinion of what happens." The Stoics believed that truth doesn't lie in what someone says, but in how they act, in what they prioritize, in what they repeat. So let's explore the signs. Not as a bitter post-breakup list, but as insight, wisdom, awareness. Sign 1, her presence was conditional, always on her terms. Let me tell you about Marcus. He was in his early 30s, successful, stable, and more importantly, ready to settle down. He met Alina through a mutual friend. She was charming, beautiful, spontaneous, everything he thought he needed. They talked every day for weeks. She asked him deep questions, opened up about her traumas, her fears. Marcus felt trusted, chosen, but he started noticing something odd. Every time she called, she needed something, a ride, help with rent, a last-minute date when someone else canceled. She showed up when it suited her, vanished when it didn't. He brushed it off as her being busy. After all, life gets complicated, right? But here's what the Stoics would ask. Are you interpreting the facts correctly? Or are you rewriting the story to avoid discomfort? If someone only shows up when it benefits them, they're not with you. They're with the utility you provide. Stoicism teaches us to detach from fantasy, not because we're cynical, but because clarity is the foundation of peace. Sign 2, you were always giving, but receiving very little. Another story, Jason. Jason worked 2 jobs, not because he had to, but because he was saving for something bigger, a home, a future, maybe even a family. Then he met Sophia. She said all the right things, made him feel needed, special, but over time, the relationship became an emotional and financial vacuum. She didn't ask, she expected. Gifts, favors, endless support. But when Jason went through a rough patch, lost a client, got sick for a week, and she was gone. Didn't call, didn't check in, nothing. The Stoic Seneca warned, a gift consists not in what is done or given, but in the intention of the giver or doer. But what about the receiver? Love isn't a transaction, but it is reciprocal. In Stoicism, self-respect is paramount. You cannot pour endlessly from your cup if someone keeps tipping it over. Sign 3, her words were sweet, but her actions bitter. Lucius, a Stoic teacher, wrote, "Don't listen to what people say, watch what they do." Now let's meet Amir. Amir was a romantic, the poetry writing, stargazing, send good morning text kind of guy. When he met Lena, she lit up his world. She told him he was different, said she'd never felt this way before, that she saw a future with him, but she also flirted with other guys in front of him, disappeared for days without explanation. And when confronted, she said, "You're overthinking. I told you I love you." The Stoic lesson? Words are easy. Actions reveal character. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Don't chase love in the words of someone who won't prove it in action. If she's using you, her actions will whisper it louder than her lips ever could. Sign 4, you felt drained, not empowered. Do you remember the last time you felt truly at peace in that relationship? Or were you constantly anxious? I'd worried she'd leave, go cold, or pull away. A Stoic would say, examine your internal state. Is your peace dependent on another person's attention? In this next story, we meet Darius. Darius met Mel in a bookstore. He thought it was fate. But weeks into the relationship, he found himself walking on eggshells, overthinking texts,
Changing his schedule to match hers.
losing sleep trying to make it work. Mel never asked him how his day went, never supported his goals. She made everything about her. And the cost? Darius lost himself. Stoicism teaches us to protect our inner citadel. That peace isn't a luxury in its armor. If someone leaves you emotionally exhausted every day, it's not love, it's emotional erosion. Sign 5, you were a placeholder, not a priority. Now this one's hard, because it feels like you're almost good enough. Almost the one, but not quite. Zaid dated Mira for 8 months. She always told him she wasn't ready for something serious. But still, she wanted the benefits of a relationship, dinners, gifts, his time, his presence. He thought, if I just wait a bit longer, she'll come around. Then one day she disappeared. No explanation. Weeks later, she posted photos with another guy. Official, public, smiling. Zaid was shattered. The truth? He was just a bridge, not a destination. The Stoic Epictetus would ask, why do you willingly submit your soul to someone who values it so little? You are not a stepping stone. You are not a backup plan. You are not until something better comes along. If she treated you like an option, she never saw your worth. Sign 6, she made you doubt yourself constantly. Let's end with Elijah's story. Elijah wasn't insecure until he met Rhea. At first, she was affectionate, but soon, she began nitpicking, comparing him to other men, undermining his confidence. She'd say things like, you're too sensitive, or other guys wouldn't act like this. He began questioning everything. His worth, his choices, his instincts. The Stoics believed that the mind must be guarded, that negative voices, external or internal, must be silenced with reason. Marcus Aurelius wrote, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. If she makes you question your value, your intuition, your goodness, and she's not a partner, she's poison, and if you stay, you start to become the story she paints. So why do we let ourselves be used? Because love blinds us, hope binds us, and the fear of being alone sometimes speaks, louder than the red flags waving in our face. But here's what the Stoics knew. You don't need someone who only shows up when it's convenient. You don't need someone who drains your peace, doubts your worth, or takes without giving. You need clarity, you need courage, and above all, you need self-respect. So ask yourself, am I being loved, or am I being used? Is she present because she wants me, or because she wants what I offer? And if the answer stings, let it. Because pain is often the beginning of wisdom. The Stoics didn't avoid hardship. They embraced truth even when it burned. Because truth sets us free. Don't let anyone, not even someone beautiful, charming, or almost perfect, make you forget your worth. You are not a utility. You are not a band-aid. You are not a background character in someone else's story. You are the main character in yours. And if she was using you, let her go, not out of hate, not out of revenge, but out of love and for yourself, because that is the essence of Stoic power. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time,